We're back. And as usual, what we're going to be discussing today is going to be a topic that's going to completely change most of your guys' lives, as always, if you pay attention, if you listen, if you apply the information. And we're going to get straight into it. So, I just got done with a 1-hour meeting with someone who's in the real estate industry, more specifically commercial real estate, for 50 years. And he's going to be retiring in 6 months. I want to get on here to explain what I've learned within that 1 hour, how it can benefit you, and how this stuff is applicable to making you successful in whatever business model it is. You don't have to be in real estate. You don't have to be Ryan Serhant. You don't have to be, in this niche. This applies to how you can become successful. Because people who are successful in one industry, one field, are usually able to be multifaceted. If that business was to go bankrupt, if that business was to just completely stop, then more than likely they wouldn't have a hard time becoming successful in another industry. So the things that I take away and the things that I learn, I take them from the people that I believe have the right answers. And you need to do the same. If you believe that I have the right answers, and if I'm telling you guys information that's actually going to help you and change your life, then you should be watching me. You should be listening to me. If you don't think that I'm going to give you information that's going to actually apply to you or change your life in the future, then don't listen to me, because you're just wasting your time. Now, we take things that people say with either a grain of salt or the whole entire jar of salt. The salt shaker. Now, quick, comparison. If a billionaire tells you to invest in a crypto or a certain company, put your money into it, that would be an example of you, whole entire salt shaker, and you're gonna think in your head, we're in, getting a job, putting all the money into this company, I'm gonna be rich. Now, if your friend from high school tells you, okay, invest in this, blah, 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 and they work a 9 to 5, they've been in this investing thing up and down, haven't really made anything out of their lives yet, then you're going to take that with a grain of salt. That's just how it works. Sure, you might still invest because you might be dumb, or maybe you just actually think it's a good company or a good investment to make. That all depends on you, but you guys get the consensus of what I'm trying to explain. So I'm just going to get into what I learned, a few key points, and how you can use them. Now, the information isn't extraordinary. It's actually pretty generic, but in some ways, I'm going to explain it to you so that way you understand it better. So let's just get right into it. Okay, the first thing that I've noticed from this person is that you can go into markets, but you have to be extremely niched in order to get results at a high level. You can't be spread too thin. That's not how you become successful. So in this example, this individual, they're in the real estate market, right? And they're in, a certain sector, which is commercial real estate. Now, to make money in a certain industry, you can be spread thin. But if you want to make big money, if you want to make 7, 8, 9 figures plus, then you have to be dialed in. You have to be locked in and niche down. So what this means is that I'll give you an example comparative to something that I currently do, which is Amazon. In Amazon, there's multiple different business models. There's OA, there's RA, there's wholesale, there's private label. Now, in wholesale, there's different sectors. There's working with distributors. There's working with brands directly. The more niche down and more precise you get with what it is that you do, the more success that you're going to bring yourself. If I'm doing OA and wholesale, I'll never be as, competitive or knowledgeable as the person who strictly does wholesale. If I want to be in the NBA and all I do is play basketball, play soccer, do you think I'll ever be as good as the person who just plays simply basketball alone? No, that's not how it works. And we're not talking about the outliers. We're talking about raw reality, realistic expectations. So what I noticed from this person is that You have to be dialed in. It's so important. You can't do residential and you can't do commercial and you can't do all these different things and try to become, successful in every different niche. You have to figure out what it is that you want to do and lock in on that. Sure, maybe down the line, once you have experience like he does, 50 plus years, then you can go into multiple different avenues. Not 50 years to be exact, but good experience enough to where you feel like you've mastered and you have the results that show that you've mastered that certain niche. That's when you can explore and do all of these different things. But until then, you guys have a long way, and so do I. So we're not gonna cut corners and say, let me jump to this, let me jump to that. That's not how this works. So that's the first thing. Applicable to your life right now is figure out what it is that you're focused on, what it is that you're putting all your energy and effort into. And if that's not just one thing, and if it's not just niched down and it's not specific, then don't expect to get specific results that you set for yourself. You have to be specific. And this whole niche down thing, it doesn't just apply to the business model you pick or the avenue that you decide to go down in life. It also applies to the way that you carry yourself, all the different goals that you have. You have to be specific. I want to move to this city. I want this car in this spec. I want this amount of money in my bank account by this exact date. And by this exact date, I want to be in this exact location. And I want this exact lifestyle. You have to be exact and niche to a T, because if you don't know where you're going, there's a quote where it says, if a ship is sailing with no set direction of where it wants to go, then it's just going endlessly in the middle of nowhere and it's never going to have a destination at all. That's what you have to think about business and life like, because that's how business and life is. That's simple. So that's the first thing. Niche down. Get more specific in life with what it is that you want, what it is that you want to do, and what it is that you're actually actively doing. That's the first one. Next one. The next one is basically, this guy has hired a few new people. Probably around my age, he said. He thought I was like 23 or something, but I'm not. I'm 20. So they're probably at 23, 24, 25. And what he explained about how he got started is that he was purely commission-based. Initially, he went into residential for a year and a half, and then he switched to commercial because he got an opportunity. Initially, he was going to go straight into commercial, but the owner of the company wasn't ready to bring him on yet. So for that year and a half, he strictly did residential, and then once that business owner, which they worked together for years and years, once that guy gave him the call, then he went straight into commercial real estate. So basically, the point that I'm trying to get at is that once you have an opportunity, you have to seize the moment. You have to take full advantage of it. He was simply just commission-based, like most of the agents there are now, are simply commission-based. Sure, there's some buyback on time spent and everything like that, and bonuses, blah, blah, blah. But the point being is that he told me that I would be a perfect candidate for this company. And the reason being is because since I was 14, I've been trading options in the stock market. I've never had a job. I've never had a guaranteed income. Nothing in my life has ever been guaranteed. Nothing has ever been, okay, I know I'm going to get this at the end of this. Sure, I had a vision of what it is that I want in the end of everything that I do, but it wasn't guaranteed. I'm not getting a paycheck. I'm not guaranteed $5,000, $10,000 at the end of the month. I have to make it for myself. And you guys have to want it for yourself and make it for yourselves as well. So get out of this mentality where it's like, I'm fine with just getting this and then I'm good. You have to be extremely hungry. That's point number 2. Be extremely hungry. Be out there hunting every single day. I need the money in this way. I want the car this way, so I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go work out this way. I'm going to go to the gym this way. I'm going to fight this way. I'm going to do all of these different things. I'm going to fight. I'm going to make money. I'm going to have a nice car. I'm going to dress well. I'm going to, keep up myself in a good positive manner, and all these different things. You have to be extremely hungry and want this stuff, because most people just aren't hungry enough. That's how you outdo every single person, all the competition, all the people that you see online that are doing these big numbers. You just outdo them by wanting it more, doing more, having more information, and you create your own luck. That's how you win in life. Create your own luck through hard work and sheer persistency, consistency, and everything like that. That's how you actually get rich. That's another extreme key. I'm gonna leave you guys with one more key thing that I want to give you guys. And you have to realize that even he told me this. He said, you know, in this business, I never thought that I was gonna make this much money. In my life, I never thought that I was gonna make this much money. And what I've made is more than I ever imagined I could make. And the final point is that you guys have to aim bigger and have higher expectations for yourself. My whole life I've had high expectations for myself. My whole life I've had big visions, big goals, big dreams that I wanted to achieve. And I made that normal for myself. I made that normal for myself as to the fact that I conditioned my mind that if anything less than exceptional or extraordinary was who I was, then I haven't done anything. I haven't achieved anything. You have to be hard on yourself in order to want it bad enough. You have to need it. You can't just say, I want, I need this. Like, I always talk to you guys about this. Like, when I'm working, when I'm doing stuff, there will literally be moments where I just stop while I'm working and I'm like, God, I need this. Like, I don't want this. I just need this. I will do anything it takes to get this far, to get this, and this, to become this, and this. Because you have to have that standard in order to actually get it in life. You have to be putting in the work. You have to be putting in extra hours more than anybody else, and you have to do it with the right information and knowledge and execution. Information, knowledge, execution. All these things are going to make you successful, and you need to have a vision for yourself and want this out of your life, and just aim big. Aim, bigger than you can imagine. That doesn't mean aim for 100 million when you haven't made your first 100K. But you guys need to understand what I'm trying to say as far as the long-term vision. Your long-term vision has to be so big, and you have to set short-term goals in order to eventually reach that at a realistic rate. Now, I can want to be a billionaire, and that doesn't mean I'm going to set, okay, in 12 months I want to be a billionaire. That means, realistically, by this date, if I want to become a billionaire by, 10 years down the line, this is the rate that I have to go year by year, month by month, day by day, week by week. Calculate every single thing. Compare it to what I'm currently doing now. Figure out the gaps as to why I'm not performing at those specific numbers comparative to what I want to get to. Understand the numbers, break them down, get closer to the core region of why it is that you're not there, and measure everything out. Measure it and see exactly what it is that you need to do in order to get there. That's all I'm going to leave you guys with today, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe, like if you want, and I believe in you guys, so keep working hard.